Hello everyone, this is Sarah with the York County Library. Welcome. In today's video we are going to be making reusable bags out of old t-shirts. Or you could do it out of a new t-shirt too. What you're going to need to be able to do this craft is of course a t-shirt. I have a couple here. This is one. Has a print on the front and the back. It's made of cotton, both of my shirts are. You just want to make sure it's a fabric that's pretty durable. If you intend to use this for groceries and stuff like that, you want to make sure it's strong enough to hold those. And this is my other shirt. This is actually a summer reading shirt of mine that I'm going to make into a bag. And what you want to make sure is that on your shirt, it has this seam that runs from the end of the shoulder down to the armpit. So if you have something that has more of a baseball tee seam where it runs from the edge of the neckline down to the armpit, that's not going to work as well. So you just want to make sure it has this kind of sleeve. Second thing you're going to need, of course, is scissors. This is a no-sew project, so we're not going to need needles or thread. These scissors are fabric scissors, and so they're going to work really well on the t-shirts, but as long as you have a sharp pair of scissors, you can get through this. And those are the essentials. Optionally, I am going to be using this bowl right here, the circular edge of it, to mark with this pin the area where I want to cut for the straps. You don't have to do this, you can eyeball it, but it is an option in case you need a guide. And that's it. So shirt, scissors, optional bowl, optional marking utensil, and we're ready to go. So let's see how this turns out today. So here is our shirt. The first step to create a reusable bag is to cut off the sleeves of the t-shirt. You can follow along with the seam, and I cut in towards the shirt so it gets rid of that rough and bumpy seam. But you don't have to mark the shirt, you just use that line from where the bottom of the sleeve is to the top, and you do that on both sides. You can always trim the straps to make them thinner or the holes a little longer for your shoulder, but I think I've got it where I want it. So now I'm going to take the bowl and center it at the top, at the neck, and this will create a guiding line for me to cut along. I'm going to use a pin to mark along the edge of the bowl, and this just gives me a nice round edge to follow. You can see the pin mark there. So I'm just going to turn my shirt and cut along that line. When we cut this, we now have straps at the top. So the top of the shoulders of the t-shirt are the top of the straps. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off. And now we're going to start working on sealing the bottom of the bag. I am going to mark 1-inch wide strips using a ruler, or you could eyeball it. I'm going to do that along the bottom edge of the t-shirt. I have put some pins in place to keep the edges of the t-shirt together, but you could just hold them with your fingers. And now I'm cutting along the lines that I made for the 1-inch strips, and I'm just eyeballing. You could go from 1.5 inches to 2-inch strips. You can make them longer if you want them to dangle more. And then for the strips on the sides where the edges of the shirt are, just make sure to cut those so it makes 2 strips. Now we're just taking our pairs of strips from the front and the back and tying them together. I am just doing a simple double knot for each pair across. Now if you come to a strip that's a little too short, you can take your scissors and cut that strip a little longer so it's easier to tie. You can see that my strips are not going to be as long, so the fringe is not going to dangle as much. And also as you pull the strips, they do become a little longer. Alright, so I've reached the end of my fringe, and there we go. We have our bag with our straps at the top. There it is from the front, and there it is from the side. And now it's good to go. So onto our second way of making a reusable bag. I'm going to be taking this shirt and doing a little magic and getting the sleeves and the top cut, just like we did with the other one. Now that we've got the sleeves and the top cut, we are going to be cutting a around 1 inch strip from the bottom. I'm just going to eyeball it though, instead of measuring it. Once you have this strip cut out, it's a loop, so just cut it in the middle so that you have one long string. Now we're going to be doing a knot at the bottom of the bag and turning it inside out. Since I want the print on the outside to show, I will turn it inside out so that when I'm done, it will be on the outside of the bag. So you're going to take that strip and wrap it around the gathered fabric at the bottom of the cut shirt. So I'm just making a little knot and making sure I place the knot along the gathered fabric where I want it to be. And then I'm just going to use that bottom strip of fabric to tie that together. And I'm going to flip it over multiple times, knotting it as I go. So now that I've got that done, I will turn it inside out, and I have a small bag that has the print on it. And now I have 2 reusable bags. And there you go. We had 2 t-shirts and now we have 2 reusable bags. So here's the first one I did. This one has the fringe bottom. There, you can see it right there. These are your shoulder straps. As you're working on something like this, you can always test to see if these are going to be big enough to go around your shoulder by trying it on, if this is how you're going to be carrying it. Therefore, you can make it fit you as you go. And of course, like I said, you could always make the fringe longer if you want it to be a little bit more dangly. So there's the first one. And then here is my second one, which turned out a little shorter than I thought. This one has the end that we tied off with the strip we cut off from the bottom, and it's been turned inside out, so that knot is on the inside. You could have the knot on the outside if you want to, but I think this makes it a little bit more secure. And because I had a print, I just needed to make sure that when I tied it off, I had that on the inside. So now it's on the outside. And now that I've put some items in here, I think this would also be a great way to gift wrap something in a reusable fashion. Instead of using paper, you could create bags like this out of old t-shirts and then use them for gift wrap. Tie the item inside. You could do a fancier bow than this if you wanted to. And then you have a little parcel ready to go. And then after the person opens it, you can just take it back and reuse it. So there's just another little way to think about this. So I hope you had fun today. I hope this gives you another way to maybe use those t-shirts that might be lying around that you haven't worn in a while but that have sentimental value, or it might just be a fun way to get a reusable bag without having to purchase one. And friends, that is all I have for you today. I hope you found this craft useful and enjoyable, and I hope it helps you. So as always, remember to stay safe, stay cool, and stay creative, York County.